Hello and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be talking about the Itaveda approach, okay? Because what I want you to know is that not only there is a health cookbook coming out in January, and you don't want to miss this because this is a project that I feel like I've been birthing since I was a young child, and it's coming to fruition like right now. And I'm so excited because it is a health cookbook that it's going to be a blend between my Italian upbringing and the Ayurvedic knowledge that I've acquired through the years, and how I blended those two, and how have I was able to heal my relationship with food, and to go through a spiritual awakening with myself, my first one, my very first one. And it literally changed the trajectory of my life. And this is what I have the pleasure to also teach others that are wanting to really go through a mind, body, soul transformation, and who are looking to become intuitive, like the true intuitive eater. But you have to get to know your body, learn the food energetics, as you can see from my videos, and you kind of go beyond what everybody teaches you. Because so my primarily goal and it is to help you get in touch with your body. I'm learning new skills, but at the same time, you have to be the advocate for yourself, and you need to learn how the body speaks to you, okay? So, if you're interested, again, you don't want to miss this. This is going to be great. It's going to be called Mangia, and I'm going to add the link to the waitlist so that you don't miss any updates on when this book is coming out. Because obviously, I'll be offering something in return for your support. I'm just so excited for this project. You know, I'm trying to collaborate with as many people as I can to birth this gift that I want to give to all of you. So today in this video, we're going to be talking about like the Itaveda approach that I have created, that I also am explaining in my book. But a lot of the people, and whenever I do podcast interviews, they ask me, like, how can you blend the Italian culture with the Indian culture? So let's go back a little bit, because I want to talk about what is Indian culture, what is the Ayurveda. A lot of people don't really know what this word means. I wouldn't even know if I didn't study it. But Ayur means life, Veda is the science. So it's literally the science of life. It is one, if not the most ancient holistic science on earth, originated in India more than 5,000 years ago. Okay, so it's even older than traditional Chinese medicine or Tibetan medicine. And there is something to the practice of holistic healing and healing the body through a mind, body, soul transformation, because Ayurveda really believes that you cannot separate the mind, the body, and the soul. You cannot separate those. You cannot treat the symptoms. And that's at the base of this work that changed my life. I was like, I'm tired of people, doctors, therapists, treating the symptoms of what I feel like the cause is something else. And I'm going to get into that towards the end of some of the real causes of like eating disorders or a poor relationship with food. So stick with me until the end. But for right now, let's just stay where Ayurveda is. Okay, so mind, body, soul connection. So the food that you're eating today has a direct effect on your mental health. So this is the gut-brain connection, okay? And it's so important because I see people trying to manage their mental health, but at the same time they're having a poor diet, and a poor diet lowers their vibration. It keeps you in a stuck in depression, keeps you stuck in anxiety, and at the same time you're trying to do trauma work and the body keeps pulling you down. So I keep bringing people back to take care of the bodies, because you're already winning once you stabilize your body, because you're having less crazy hormonal changes, you are having less mood swings and less health issues in the long run. So stabilize that so you can do the other work. You can do the emotional work, you can do the spiritual work. And again, you can, of course, you can start with the spiritual, you can start with the emotional, but I have seen that you go so fast when you start from the body. Like, you heal at a much faster pace, because that's your foundation. It's kind of like, otherwise you're building a house with lack of foundation. So again, Ayurveda, it's a science of life, and it believes that we have different bodies, what I call the energetic blueprints. It believes that we have different metabolism, we have different way of, again, metabolizing the emotions as well, because again, we're metabolizing foods and we're metabolizing emotions, and every body type, okay, every individual has its own unique code of breaking down the foods, breaking down the emotion, experiences trauma and stuff like that. And there is something powerful when you start to embody who you really are, and that's what happened when I studied Ayurveda. I realized, like, I can't change who I am. Like, I can't, but I can use it to understand my strengths and my weaknesses and work with those and accelerate in my healing journey, because now I have a starting point, right? So that's Ayurveda. And that's what is going to be included in the book, to kind of give you a taste of what energetic blueprint and food energetics and all of those things are. It's a very and it's not like just a woo-woo spiritual practice, okay? It's been tested through so many years that I believe in it. I truly believe in it, because it has been treating the root cause for so many years before even allopathic medicine, before Western medicine. And again, just want to make this clear, I'm not against Western medicine. I believe that we need Western medicine when the illness is very acute. Okay, you can't really treat an acute disease or a symptom, like, right? Like, you got to go to the ER. But can you work on prevention? Yes, you can. And you're also saving yourself a lot of money, especially in America. Not in Italy, but if you're living in America and you work on prevention, then you're gonna save yourself a lot of money that could go into something else, into more of your healing journey, into good food and things like that, instead of like being dependent on meds. And I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart, because believe me, I was raised by a mother who always had, unfortunately, her health issues and poor health and really close calls to not, making it. And she's a very strong woman, but I've learned to watch and realize that I didn't want to walk that path. And I had my awakening call with my health journey. And you've got to be able to make that decision for yourself when you've had enough of a situation and you have to change. And what I'm referring to is, because Ayurveda believes in mind, body, soul connection, poor dieting, yes, it affects the body. And again, we want to start there, but that might not be just the only cause of your suffering. Unhealthy, toxic relationship, and that could be in your intimate relationship or at your job, like that can affect your health. If this is stressful and you have a boss that doesn't treat you right, that doesn't value you, that it's putting so much pressure. Like I talk to so many women that are like, I'm in the sales business, and this is like my cortisol level is so high because I have to hit a certain number of sales. And I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to have that pressure and that cortisol skyrocketing? No, it is not at the end of the day, because I see people going to the hospital and I see people coming back and be like, that was enough. And so that's why when we have a holistic approach, we look at what's affecting our health, and that could be physical, that could be emotional, that could be your job, relationship, all of those things. Okay, what does this have to do with the Italian upbringing? Okay, and how can we blend the two? So the Italian way, obviously I have a video about Italian eating habits. I was born there. I was raised in Italy for my first 20 years of my life. And I can tell you that, surprisingly, when I studied Ayurveda and I was in Italy at the time, I realized, I was like, oh, we have so many things in common, even though we're two different, completely different cultures. And I will talk about the similarities in my book, but I was like, oh, these two cultures, like, they're so different, maybe in the way they're cooking. And Italian cuisine, I mean, it's very famous in the world, but it's all about like simplicity and pleasure on the tongue. Like, it needs to be just enough flavor, delicacy, and all of that. And then we have the Indian, which is like very strong in the amount of herbs and spices that we use. Okay, how can we blend the two? Because if we look at that, we're looking at the polar opposites. But what the Italian cuisine taught me is that we need to have the pleasure for our soul connection to food. Okay, it's like comforting. And what the Ayurvedic modality taught me was to use food as medicines, because everything that you're using today in your food can either poison you or help you heal. And now I look at herbs and spices like free medicine on my kitchen counter. And I'm like, I need a little bit of that, a little bit of that. And I had to study that. Of course, that's herbology, but believe me, it's not that hard to remember a few things of why you need cumin, why you need turmeric, okay? That's available to you right now, and it's free knowledge. So, how can we put those two together? Because that's the Itaveda approach. Italian, Veda, Vedic, okay? Ayurveda. It's literally a blend which has many similarities between two ancient cultures. And how I like to describe this is to incorporate, for example, herbs and spices in my Italian dishes. Now, I wouldn't put paprika and cumin and curry in my lasagna dish. That's not what I'm saying, but if I'm making a risotto, if I'm making a minestrone, then I for sure use all of the herbs and spices. Now, when I make a risotto, which is an Italian recipe, then I like to introduce the herbs. Like, I like to use the turmeric and sometimes the cumin and sometimes mustard seeds, and introducing like chickpeas or mung dal, to make it so that it's a blend. It's a blend. And I really want to encourage you to look at how you are cooking today, how you're eating today, what is your relationship with food. And obviously, my approach is what I birthed it through the years of who I am. And I love so many things about the Italian culture, and I love so many things about Ayurveda. And we need both. Okay, so I'm encouraging you to not only join the waitlist today, but also um, to look at how you're eating and how you're viewing food. Are you viewing food from a perspective of it's medicine, it can heal me, or I don't care, it's just fuel? Literally, I have this conversation with different clients, so I don't judge. I'm just like observing. So be real with yourself and let me know in the comments.